Hey, what's up, guys? Brycen here. Um, let's see here. I'm gonna do a book review today. Actually, I thought I'd do this because it's not that hard, and it'd give me some videos to put on my stupid channel. So let's see. And I read a lot, so um, we'll see how that all goes. The book I'm gonna be reviewing today, I just finished it. Actually, like 15, 20 minutes ago. It's J.K. Huysmans' The Damned. Yes, a book for the kids now. Sometimes it's called La-Bas. Anyways, damn. Okay, there is really some very disturbing scenes in this book, and I never really thought that it was ever gonna get that bad, but um, yeah, holy shit. It was actually banned from train stations and sidewalk bookstores when it was written, and I didn't do enough research to really figure it out, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was because of the satanic stuff or it was just for the murder scenes and all that, but it's pretty bad. Uh, even though the novel was fairly good, just those scenes, they're just like there's just scenes where it's too much. But let's see, it's a fictional novel. It actually is supposed to parallel the life of the author, and if you read the author's other books, you'll see that it actually follows. It's basically like your classic quest to enlightenment and whatnot. But in this book, it's all based on a guy named Durtal, and he's a writer, and it's set in old France and all that, Paris and stuff. So it's kind of there's a lot of references to French history, and a lot of times I'd have to stop and look up what in the heck everybody's talking about. But apparently during that time, it was quite the melting pot of ideas, and it's pretty bizarre in a way. But anyway, Durtal, he's a pretty pessimistic character. He's writing a book on a guy named Gilles de Rais, and who the hell knows if I pronounced that correctly, but basically he was one of the main companions of Joan of Arc. And unlike Joan of Arc, who continued to kind of live a life of piety and all that, um, this particular individual, uh, he becomes famous after a time, and because he's a ruler after Joan of Arc, conquered whatever, and it details his life in sort of like this decline into like Satanism or whatever, and basically he becomes famous, and he is now famous as basically he would eat children, and a lot of vampire lore stuff like that comes from this guy. But yeah, and that's where it gets real bad, is the scenes where he's describing this guy killing these children, and yeah, I could definitely see this book getting banned. Um, let's see, definitely not a book for the kids. Um, Basically, the main storyline of the book is while he's writing this book, he's trying to find a link into the modern French society of these satanic groups or whatever, because that's what the book's about that he's writing. Um, he eventually does. He gets together with these three guys throughout the book, and they meet at this house, and they discuss philosophy and religion and art, and basically what brings these three guys together is that they have some sort of hatred for the modern world, the materialistic, atheistic type viewpoints, and that's what brings them together. And what's interesting about this book is that there's two things that they go into great detail in describing, and one is these childlike murders, and two are the eating scenes. Like anytime these guys get together and eat, it's like these lavish meals, and it goes into these real deep details of what these people are eating and how everybody loved it and how they made it, and it's kind of interesting. I thought the dualism between the killing of the children and the description of the food that they're eating, strangely enough. But anyways, one of these guys has a wife. Let me go back. It's some guy that comes in and has a meeting with him like one time. But anyways, the main character Durtal begins receiving like this fan mail from this obsessive female fan, And at this point in time, he's, for some reason, in all French books that I've read, it's like very actively the woman pursues the man, because the man is like has this air about him to where he is too good to like engage in like these low base activities or whatever. So anyways, a lot of it is this woman trying to seduce this guy. But anyway, they finally decide to meet up, and it turns out to be the wife of this guy that has gone to their meetings. And anyway, she becomes obsessed with him, but over time the author figures out that she's in connection with this guy called the Count Docra, I think his name was, I forget. And he's supposed to be like some master magician guy, Satanist. And basically he begins tolerating this woman so he wants to go to the Black Mass. And anybody who knows anything about Satanism knows what the Black Mass is. It's basically a reversal of the Catholic rite. And it's, and that was also a very disturbing scene. But, and that's pretty much the entire plot. Like, after they go see the ritual, he completely is done with this woman, and him and his friends have another meeting and some elaborate meal, and it's pretty much over. But the reason I even decided to read this book was because I read The Club du Mas, which is the book version of the movie The Ninth Gate by, I don't remember who it's by, but it has Johnny Depp in it. It's actually a pretty interesting book, and The Club du Mas is actually a much better book, I think. But anyways, I had that on Amazon, and it was a suggested read, and I read it, and yeah, it disturbed me. Definitely some grotesque scenes in there, so if you're not really into that, stay away. But if you're into it for whatever reason, yeah, then definitely check this book out, because it's pretty nasty in a way. But yeah, it's kind of interesting though, because there's so much like satanic literature that comes out of France at this point in time. I don't know if it's just France or it's English or whatever, but it kind of correlates with Ben Franklin and the Hellfire Club and all that. But yeah, I'll show that book again. Damned, as well as a charming cover. But yeah, I mean, if you're interested in that kind, check it out. I give it 3.7 stars. It's well written. It's historically enlightening in a way. It gives you kind of a good view and how people were thinking at that point in time. But unfortunately, I had to count it down just because some of the scenes are so drawn out and disgusting that and I know that's a very bad reason to rate something low, but it kind of ruined it for me. But an interesting read nonetheless. Thank you very much. 3.7 out of 5 stars.